What's good, y'all? It's your gearhead, Mr. Logic, yo, and you already know what it is. Make sure if this is your first time hitting us up, man, hit that like and subscribe button. Allow me to introduce my lovely co-host.
Hey, you guys, it's your girl Nate. Welcome.
Yo, what it do? It's your boy Sir Zan in the back of the bus. You already know what it is.
And as you know, this is one thing for sure, two things for certain.
baby.
That's good. All right, let's follow tradition, yo. Let's talk about how our days went. Hold up. There we go.
It's not a good intro podcast if one of us doesn't have
The stream in the background.
in the background.
I thought that was me for a split second.
I know. I was like, no, but still, it was Jason.
Hassan. How was your day, love?
My day was good. I spent all day packing because I'm going on a cruise next week.
Woo.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the Bahamas.
You going to the Bahamas?
Bahama mama.
Bahamas?
Bahamas is nice.
You going with your family?
No, I'm going with my boyfriend, my best friend, and her boyfriend.
Woo!
Oh,
I do have to warn you guys. If you see pineapples on anyone's door, just keep walking. Stay away from the pineapples.
No, it means they're offering free pineapples. Pineapples are
That ain't. Listen,
Are pineapples antioxidants? Do they have antioxidants in them?
Yeah.
Pineapples?
they actually have an acid that eats through your body, which eats the fat and whatnot. And if you hold a pineapple long enough in your mouth, it'll burn through your tongue a little bit.
I love that.
Yeah, some scientists put pineapples under the microscope, and it's like little tiny prickly fibers. That's why, like, after eating too many, that's why it hurts.
Facts. No, but
what do you mean pineapple on the door? Is it the same? Do you mean like a tie on the doorknob, or you mean something else?
It's almost the same phrase. So apparently, pineapples are the symbol for swingers. So like, I learned that shit. Thank God I didn't learn the hard way. But yeah, that's a real thing. People will actually be swingers on boats, and the way they would try to recruit you. You know, like, oh, how you doing? You by yourself? Oh, me and my husband. That's my husband, Bill, over there. How you doing? Where you from? Oh my God, you're so strong. You know, like, go away. It's weird.
I had to find out the hard way that pineapples meant swingers, because I have a pineapple tattoo on my ankle.
Dude,
hey,
LOL.
but you know what? It's a different meaning for you.
Yeah, I like pineapples. Is the meaning. Pineapples are my favorite fruit. Pineapples. Yeah.
Piñas.
What the fuck is a pineapple?
It's an apple with pine. Duh, it's literally in the name.
It's just a weird fruit. Bro.
Yeah, you know what? Another weird thing with apples, right? In French, apples pomme, right? And a potato is pomme de terre, which means apple of the earth.
Yeah.
Right? Weird.
Aww.
That was interesting. And another thing, interesting fruit fact: cashew nuts grow on the bottom of very poisonous fruit.
Same thing
For
with
real?
almonds. Almonds could actually kill you if you don't wash them.
Yeah. It's like here's there's like the fruit, and then the cashew is the bottom of it, and they just fucking the fruit's super poisonous.
Arsenic is cherry
and-
seeds, apple
apple
seeds.
seeds.
There's a couple. No, but
I think a lady actually got away with killing her husband or poisoning her husband by crushing up apple seeds and putting it in his food. Yeah.
which is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, if you actually want to, basically, ladies, if you have your man at home and you want him to go to bed, give him some extract cherry juice. It will knock his ass the fuck out.
Somewhat.
Cherry extract juice.
And if you ever
Cherry extract. I think I'm pronouncing it right.
cherry extract.
Good
Like,
to
it's
know.
very potent. It will literally put your ass to sleep.
Oh no, we're gonna give the fellas some advice too. If you want to give your girl a guaranteed UTI, squirt some lemon juice in her panties.
I promise you,
Guaranteed
you don't gotta go through
UTI.
all that trouble just to give a girl UTI.
Guaranteed
I promise
UTI.
you.
Well, here's the thing.
Especially you, since you work on cars. All you gotta do is just play with her, and that's it. Don't even wash your hands.
That is filthy.
Straight UTI.
No, I mean, but like
But if
you have
listen,
to do it covertly.
if you have
like-
a dirty pee and dirty hands, and you play with your girl, your partner, I promise you, if she doesn't clean up afterwards, she will get a UTI.
what flavor.
well, oh God, no, no.
So you don't season your food? You guys are whack.
Nah. You on your own, homie.
I'm
Listen,
a chef.
Listen, pH level gotta be on point like a decimal.
Well,
I don't give a fuck.
I like pineapple, so I like it a bit acidic.
Mess on me.
I like it salty.
Wait, babe, don't take a shower.
Exactly.
You know, that's the difference between y'all and my generation. Well, I can't even know. My generation's dirty as hell. I don't heard some shit where I ain't gonna put my boy on blast, but
put him on blast. Who cares? What is he gonna do about it? Call you about it? Call you and complain?
Yeah.
Why you do that, Jason?
So everyone has like their kinks and whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But some people, you know, there's just some things that turn a person off. Some people will override that. You know, I had a homeboy, you know, I played sports and we played practice after school, played a basketball game, played a football game. We were very active when we were teenagers. Yo, we had these all ages club. So after we played sports and whatnot, we're like, all right, cool. You know, freshen up, get ready to go to this club. Yo, we're going to do this. This man did not take a shower.
Mm-hmm.
He literally, Ox had just came out. So that's all he did. Like,
the axe shower.
So, yo, we're in the club, Doug, and you know you sweating, bro. They were playing Pretty Ricky, Grind on Me, yo. That was the joint at the time. So we're sweating, bro. We're smelling like straight up locker rooms. Like,
so what was the point of actually showering if you're just gonna sweat anyway? Because
you shower afterwards, but you ain't trying to go to the club smelling all musky.
Musky.
Like, you want to be fresh. Listen, you supposed to smell good. You're supposed to be clean and whatnot. So this dude, we're dancing, you know what I'm saying? He got his little shorty, whatever. Cut back to the crib. Next day, we all shower. He does not shower. Wifeys are coming over, you know. Come over. He brings his chick. And
I mean, I guess she likes it smelly.
Nah, brother, on everything I love, this man takes his girl to the back room in my boy's crib. And the smell starts emitting from that room. It smelled like Badusi on a level that had me like, like, dog, ain't nobody cooking no seafood up in here. So it got to a point where
nice and smelly.
Everyone, you know, we're with our shorty in the room. We see that they doing their thing, and we're just like, yo, me and my boys were looking at each other like, how is she doing this? This man has not bathed in 2 days.
So here's the thing.
Wait.
Yeah.
As they come out the room, it's more like I couldn't look at her the same. I could not look at this girl the same because it's like, you're disgusting. That's not love. It was just bad. This man didn't bathe for 2 days, and it was smelly enough for a door to be locked and closed and to still smell that.
You think it's her guilty pleasure?
Nasty sex is good
Maybe.
sex.
That's why I say some people like that shit. I don't get it.
Here's the thing with arousal. I remember watching a video on it. The thing with arousal is when you are aroused, you will be more okay with things that you wouldn't be okay with.
That is bullshit.
It's the truth. No, it
that depends on the individual.
No. You are more okay with certain things that,
like, if you're into the person, you mean?
Yeah, if you're aroused, there are some things that, and it's just biology, that you'll just wave because you're aroused, right? So the only way that I can explain that is he must have had that fucking Chernobyl fucking nuclear Hiroshima fat boy fucking.
Yeah, he had to have something, because this shorty here, listen, bro, it's like you pay attention to what your boys do.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? It's always about being fresh and being clean. But that one dude out the group, the dude smelled like Onsalt, dog. Like, he smelled like dry fish. Like, it was just bad. And I'm like, dog. And his girl was pretty. Like, that's what really messed me up in the head. It's like, yo, she wasn't no ugly chick. Yeah. I'm like, you either have lost your sense of smell or you like that shit. There's no in between.
No, Jason, speaking of smelly, I'm a bit smelly.
You were the one who sent the video on the group chat about, it was a story time video about this married couple. And this woman had this very guilty pleasure kink where she, you know how there's golden showers? Well, think of it like
she like
the
nuggets.
Backdoor shower. She like nuggets, where she wanted her husband to shit on her. And wasn't it? Did she want to eat it? I forgot the story.
What's wrong with
that? Shit, we ain't sharing no cigarettes.
I don't know the health concerns about eating shit.
I do.
What's wrong with that?
It's wrong.
No, it'll give you E. coli.
I don't give a damn. You can tell me it's beneficial. I don't give a shit. Not all healthy foods are good. So
hold on. Let's roll that back. What you just said there.
Not all healthy foods are good, as in taste.
Right,
but
we're talking about poop. So where does that come into?
I mean, if it's good for plants, just cut out the middleman.
I'm not a plant. So in the Reddit, it goes that, he's been married with this girl for years. They have kids together, and she was talking about her fantasies and whatnot. So it really kind of concerned him because he's never saw his wife in that light.
Yeah.
Where she's like, I want to eat your ass.
A filthy fucking poop gobbler.
Well, it is apparently in the Reddit. It didn't start off like that. So she's like, okay, she had him shower up. Next thing you know, head over heels, bent the nigga's legs backwards.
Fucking
and he's like,
it's not bad.
It's bad because
he said that when she was eating his ass, he's like, "Oh, it's not terrible. It's not bad.
It's what she did afterwards."
That really
because as she's eating, she's like shit in my mouth, and apparently he's trying, but he was so uncomfortable and basically she literally sucked the nugget out of his ass, and then the worst part on it, she ate it, and then. Literally after their session, she's texting him the next day at work like, I can't wait to eat your shit. And he doesn't know how to look at his wife anymore. I think that prompts a divorce. Like, no, I'm sorry.
I don't think so.
I don't care. Those kids, your mama is sick. Like, you're telling me you would, I don't see how I could stay with someone like that.
I don't condone it, but you have to think of it like this. You have to keep sex interesting. After years of marriage, you have to keep sex interesting. Now, I'm not saying that the best way to go about it is sucking a nugget out of your partner's butt. But here's the thing. There are some boundaries that you are going to have to cross if you want to, continue that spark in your relationship.
You have to keep it interesting. I get that.
You have to blur the line between
my G, you guys are in relationships.
Yeah.
Imagine your partner's your partner's like, I can't wait for you to get off to work. I'm gonna eat the peanuts out your shit or eat the corn out your shit. Like you tell me that wouldn't fuck you up in the head a little bit.
I'm saying, how about you start by eating my ass first and then we'll go from there.
But that's
I look at you different now.
This is my girlfriend versus my wife, right?
I don't want it.
No, but here's the thing. That
doesn't make it any better.
No, but it's different to me, is what I'm saying. Like, there are things that are reserved for a wife and that are reserved for a girlfriend. And even then, even if that's your wife, we wouldn't have had to have been together for a certain amount of time to where it's like, because like when it comes to fucked up sexual acts like that invokes a certain level of intimacy. Intimacy and vulnerability, right? You have to be able to really feel like vulnerable with that person. And I could only imagine how the husband felt, legs up in the air, his fucking girl is sucking a
nugget. We're going to use the term nugget.
And you could say, right, some niggas would try to spin it like, oh yeah, you really got her like that. She's eating shit out your ass, bro. But think of it like this, like that really is a power move in the relationship, at least like male to female, as like if your girl is holding your legs up, sucking a nugget, that shifts the power in the relationship, in my opinion.
You've been demasculated.
Yeah,
bro.
exactly.
Like, you're no longer a man.
She took your shit, and literally.
Well, there's that chick who was on a podcast. I think it was Super Humble Podcast, and she talks about like how she ate her man's ass, but she didn't respect him as a man anymore.
No, yeah, it's a power move.
Yeah, like she's like, yo, I had my way with him.
Yeah,
and it changed. And they're like, but you wanted to do that? She's like, yeah, because I'm a nasty bitch, but he's a man, and he let me do that to him. And I'm like.
But that doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. Like,
but
how's he? Well, I can't say you're less of a man because again, you have to respect everyone's kink. It is what it is. Some people like, whips and chains. You never heard that saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, and whips and chains excite me. So there's people like that. Hold on.
Rihanna?
I was like, should I say it?
Rihanna said that?
Yeah. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but
it's called
whips and chains excite me. No. Yeah. You said, I was like,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, her big ass forehead. Oh.
Well, yeah.
I mean, listen, when it comes to like, I know we went from, I apologize, we went from pineapples to talking about foreplay and kinks. I just think I agree with you when it comes to being in a relationship, whether you're married or, have a partner that you've been with for a while, you do have to accommodate.
Yeah.
But within reason. Because I feel like if you're going to do something that truly makes you uncomfortable, you start impact on your,
you start small. A relationship is about compromise.
Look, you want to eat my ass? Fucking put a ring on it and give me 2 kids. Then we'll talk about it.
Because what if, like, let's say your thing, you love eating pussy, and let's say for some weird reason the girl that you're dating, she is
doesn't like that,
doesn't really like it.
Gotta go.
So
You gotta
Gotta
go.
go.
You gotta go.
Gotta
But
go.
you love her so much, and she's like, you know what? I'm
Nah.
willing to compromise and do baby steps, and eventually you do get there.
I mean, okay, if she's
Here's where I
willing,
have
if
to
she's willing,
well, I have to contradict myself
yeah.
on this one. I have to be real. I'm going to contradict myself
Okay.
because there's certain things I get. You're 100% correct on it. Like you do have to compromise to make it work. There's no way in God's green earth I'm doing that shit.
yeah.
That's okay. We're
No,
not
but-
You know what I'm
forcing
saying?
you to do it.
I know you're
Jason.
not forcing me, but the reason
but-
it contradicts
yeah.
myself because I feel like, yo, for a man who likes to, you know, play with the kitty cat and do all types of shit, I would want somebody.
Jason.
Yes, eat coochie.
Yeah.
However,
Coochie.
it's more of I like that. That's something that I like to do because I like to pleasure my lady.
Mm.
However, if she's not into that, it is a turn off because it's like,
right.
damn, you know, like some dudes, honestly, and I think it's a lot of dudes more than average is where men get pleasure off pleasuring off their girl,
Mhm.
even if, you know, we don't get stimulation off of it, but it feels good to us that we're able to pleasure our women. So that's like a kink alone all in
Yeah.
itself. So that being said, I would hope, you know, the shorty I'm dealing with doesn't mind me, you know, waking her up with a little num, you know what I'm saying? But some girls don't like that.
That's sexual assault.
Let me tell you. No, I mean, what's it called? Blanket consent. I think that's a term I heard once. Where
Blanket consent?
I may be wrong.
I don't like 2023
Stop.
anymore.
I may be wrong. I heard it once. Basically, it means instead of like actually verbally telling consent,
consensual non-consent.
yeah.
or-
So you do. I'm touching you,
Yeah.
and then either you tell me no, or
Yeah.
you don't do anything, and you keep letting me do it.
yeah,
That's kinda like
okay,
what
yeah.
it is.
She's not saying no.
She's not saying no. So, but
yeah,
at
yeah,
the fact that you're not like stopping me
Yeah.
means you want me to keep going. So
Okay,
it kind
okay,
of plays into
okay.
that where it's like, okay, you guys are asleep, and you know you're feeling on her, and you know your intent is to
What
like,
if
you know
she's
go
just
down
deep
there.
asleep though, right? Imagine.
No,
yeah,
no,
right?
no.
But here's the thing,
You gotta be careful. You gotta be
but
careful.
y'all be doing some bullshit. I'm gonna call out women on this one. Y'all be doing some bullshit, okay? Because y'all will literally lay up in the bed, push our hand away, and as you push our hand away, you want to get all comfortable and you stick your ass on us. Like, yo, why do y'all do that, bro? Like that shit gets me
Warm.
irritated. I don't give fuck the wrong. It's like, yo, you already pushed my hand away. You're like, oh, I'm not in the mood. But then you're gonna go in a fetal position and you're gonna just move over your ass onto a nigga.
Yeah.
Like, and you already know I'm not gonna say no. You give me the green lights, we going in, life in.
Yeah.
You know?
But let me tell you, if I'm already sleeping, or even if I'm about to wake up, please don't do that
Do what?
because I am not a morning person.
What?
Like wake me up with
Oh.
like sexy time.
Honestly,
I genuinely am not a morning person.
I
so
think that's
I'm just
the
like,
best.
unless I'm already awake.
Morning sex is, in my opinion, is my favorite time. Morning, and the reason being is when you're in the morning, that could be nasty, son, because you know you wake up with bad breath.
Don't
you know what I'm
care.
saying? Hey, listen, we're right there, dog. We don't care.
Don't care. Don't
All
care.
I'm saying
don't
is,
care.
like, yo,
I want the
you
I
wake
want the
up
hot breath on me.
and it's like, yo, I see you. You wake
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
Makes me
I
feel less
think-
insecure.
Women are the prettiest when you know they're at their naturalist.
I
You know
think
what I'm
women are
saying?
the prettiest when they're just not talking.
Oh my god.
Bitch.
Here we go. Oh shit! Hit it with the BITCH. No, but think about it. Like, yo, you wake up with your partner. You know what I'm saying? And to me, because I like to pleasure. Yo, I want to make sure she good to go. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When she's up in the morning before she get up, wake up a little early, dude. Know what I mean? You're her. You know what I'm saying? Get her on and popping and shit. Now, it's like, yo, I love getting that text message. I don't know about you, G. Like when you get the text message from your lady, she's like, "Oh, you felt so good inside of me." Like, yo, it's like, yeah, nigga.
I can't relate.
You never gotten that text message?
No, because he's bad in bed.
Yeah.
That's the context he's trying to imply.
I'm great for me in bed.
Oh my god!
You know what I'm saying?
You are horrible, dog.
Doesn't concern me.
I think,
Who's the real idiot? Me or her for staying with me even though I'm bad? Right?
That's a good question. It's a L.
Yeah. Who's the L though? Right? You know what I'm saying?
Hello.
Like, you ever seen those quick videos where it's like, I didn't even get off. She's like, I did. Shit, you should
I
have
got
kept
mine.
up.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Keep up.
But I think when it comes to partners and relationships, yes, you're 100% right. You have to be considerate. You have to be open-minded, especially if you're married, and you have to spice things up. I just think it has to be within reason, especially when you're dealing with your partner. Because what you're not comfortable with, I've always been taught somebody else is. So that's kind of like a reminder that you have to be considerate.
Oh, I have a question
to that
for you
level,
guys.
it depends what. Ooh, there's some fire.
I have a question for you guys. Have you ever been in a relationship where you're used to your routine in terms of sex, and then sometimes you wish, oh, this could be better, room for improvement, and then whatever, you move on to a new relationship and you try new things, you explore, and it's very good, a lot better in the beginning. Have you ever caught yourself thinking like oh damn, my new partner like does this thing, and then it kind of just like leaves you like surprised?
Don't question it. Why?
I'm not even asking.
Well, as guys, we can mess our heads up if we think too deep into it.
I don't question it.
Like we can, because it's like, yo,
like wow, what you do that thing?
Like if you do some type of move with your chick and she puts it on you, you're gonna be like, who taught you that? Who the fuck taught you that? I love that you did it, but who taught you that, bro?
As far as I'm concerned, my girl was a virgin before she met me.
Same. I say the same thing with my man.
Yep. Sorry, I don't care.
I'm like, bitch, who?
Listen.
No one.
That doesn't concern me.
I will say it like this: when I was in a relationship, bro, it was more of you. At least for me, I tried to study my partner. You know what I'm saying? Because it's true. You have to make love to the mind, not just the body. So you have to find the little ticks here and there to set it off. Like some like a foot rub, and you guys know me, I fucking don't like feet. But if it makes,
that's a funny thing that you said. Like, it's a lie.
How is it a lie? I ain't putting no toes in my mouth.
I know. Okay, wait.
I don't put toes in my mouth.
I never said you did. You said you don't like feet. That's a lie.
But like you love giving foot rubs. You told me one time that I love coming home at the end of the day and give my girl a nice foot rub.
That's my point. It makes her feel good. If I make her feel good, it makes me feel good. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of energy I'm on. Now there's some dudes who take it to the next level where it's like, dog, I think you need to be careful, because I do have that one homeboy where I'm like, dog, you're kind of, a little extreme, dog. Like,
what do you mean?
Like he's a foot fetish person, and I'm like, yo, that can get you in trouble. Like
how?
Because some of these guys who are foot fetish are weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, they make it so obvious you're looking at a girl's foot, and you're just like, yo, chill out, dog. Like,
I think
weird.
Somebody told me once that the reason why people are sexually attracted to feet is because the center, like there's the center in your brain that dictates attraction is right next to what controls your feet. So like if the wires cross, then your attraction, you look at feet the same way you look at like a naked body or whatever. Like they literally can't help it. Like it's not like
I can see that.
It's not like you like. I mean, you can like develop a foot fetish, but the people who are just when they discover like, damn, feet looking kind of sexy or whatever, they literally can't help it. It's as normal to them as like liking boobs are to. Well, right.
Speaking of boobs, like I think Miley Cyrus. Yeah. Well, here's the thing: a woman who takes care of her foot. Yeah. In my opinion, like my mom taught me, if she takes care of her feet, she takes care of herself. One of the things that used to really piss me off when I was younger is when I see a woman with her toes done and their pretty feet and they're ugly as hell. Like that was always the big disappointment, because like, you know how dudes check from head to toe? I'm backwards. I look from the bottom up. And if I see, feet, okay, all right, cool. Oh, face. No, bueno. It messes me up, because it's like, damn. I honestly thought I was going to see someone attractive. I mean, but again, that's just, I'm weird like that.
Luckily enough, most women don't have, dragon claws. That.
Have you seen your homeboy's feet though?
Yeah.
Bro, I have some
homeboy. Have you seen my feet?
No. Like, don't tell me you got slave runners.
Yeah, of course I do.
You got Kuta Kente feet?
Nigga, I am full blood Haitian.
So am I.
First generation.
But my feet got damaged, so. But my thing is, like, I got homeboys who got talons, and I'm like, dog.
Oh, like they hook like that?
Like you rip holes in your socks, bro.
You look like the type of man to get like a manicure.
I used to get them.
Yeah.
But then I used to get manicures. I even used to paint my nails.
Yeah, when I met you, painting your nails, and
Yeah.
I ain't gonna front, I was a little judgmental towards you about it, just because I didn't understand it. Like,
No,
I'll be real with you, I just didn't understand it, so I was judgmental on it because I felt like dudes who do their nails like that, I always looked at it as like an emo phase. Like maybe he's just emo.
No, yeah, I actually during that time, one of my friends had passed, so I was painting them black. Well, because of that.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Since you are one of those individuals, I feel like it's painting your nails for anybody is an expression of how you're feeling. That's why girls, you know, do their nails and they want to do the bedazzle. But when I see dudes like, I was working with a customer and he had like flames and shit. He had the beard and he had like the Beijing, like that shit looked painted on like Sinbad of the Seven Seas. And I'm just like, this nigga gay. But he's not gay. It's just like
no, because like it's just a form of expression. But here's my thing. My thing with that, with men who paint their nails, like, painting your nails is one thing, right? And I guess this is just me being stuck in my ways. I would say certain colors are acceptable, but at the same time, any color is acceptable. But this is just me with my views. Like you can go black, you can go clear, and maybe red.
But no rhinestones, no bedazzle.
Yeah, don't put more effort into your nails than your girl, because then people will look at you funny. But then again, if that's what you like, that's what you like. Me personally, I got over it, and looking at men with painted nails just kind of like
it's not that I don't
putting to me.
It's not that I don't respect you. It's just when I see a man with his nails done, I look at
but be specific. Like, what do you mean by done?
When I see done, like he got the cocaine tips. You know what cocaine tips are, right? No. Cocaine tips is, I call them cocaine tips because they got the white with the white line.
Oh, so you mean the French tips?
French tips. So I call it cocaine tips.
You mean French tips?
French tips, yeah.
LOL.
So when I see a guy with that, I look at you like, dude, I don't consider you masculine, because it's like, dog, like, wait, you're gonna be like, I don't want to do hard work because I don't want to damage my nails. Like, there's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself, being clean cut. Women don't want a man with gorilla hands. That, well, you even see my hands when they're dirty as fucking, like Jason. And I'm like, you're right. I can't argue that, because it's a tag to who you are as a person. Like,
right. I mean,
you look at a man with dirty hands, I'm like, okay.
I don't blame you because you work with cars.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. You know, no matter how hard you try, depending on how much work you do, like, you know, you probably have calluses on your hands and like rips, and you know, it's understandable. I get it. No matter. You know, that's fine. Just as long as it's clean and, you know.
Yeah. So like when dudes have like dirt underneath their nails that you like, there's a whole fucking buried treasure underneath their nails. I'm looking at them like,
I actually compulsively clean my nails. And I don't really like them being long, but I keep them long because I like to scratch myself, because I don't like scratching with nubs, but I compulsively clean my nails.
I just did mine.
You know what I hate about nails though? Yeah. The day you cut them is the day you need them.
Yeah,
like I'll cut my nails and I just happen to get a Coke can, and now I'm fucking fidgeting to fucking open that shit.
I did my own nails, you guys.
Oh,
it took me 3 hours to do this bitch, but she came out pretty good.
And you know what?
It looks
for the gentleman watching the show. Appreciate
it looks good
when your lady gets her nails done. Okay,
no, yeah, I love when my girl gets her nails
appreciate that, man, because the truth of the matter is, do they do it for themselves? Yeah, but they're also doing it for us.
Yeah, like, you know what I say? Every time I get my nails done, I tell my man, I'm like, look, I just got my dick grabbers done.
Oh, damn. Okay, Miss Vulgar over here.
So cringe.
Why is it cringe?
Because my girl does
oh shit. Nah, but it's like, because this is the truth. Like, a lot of us men, we love when you ask us certain things, like what color you want me to do them, because it's like, okay, yeah, you're taking care of your nails, but you're making it about us. You're making us feel special by asking us what color we want. Like, it's a courtesy. So when women do that, I think that's love. You know what I'm saying? However, some people take it way too far. Like, I saw a video where a girl, she said she spent, what was it? She spent like $300 on her nails, and
Jason, let me tell you,
get up there.
Let me tell you. So like, nail prices nowadays have gotten up, you know, in this economy. If you do something like a simple set, even if you just had to do your nails and your toes.
Tina said they came out good night.
Thank you. I did it myself. Oh my, I was so nervous doing
Marco
this.
Marco Batelli says, them grippers. Thank you, Marco. Fucking.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me see your nails, love. I see yours. Let me see yours, love. Okay. Have you seen those nails that look like daggers?
Wait, yeah, there's
like
stiletto.
those things creep me out, bro.
Stiletto.
Because it's like,
You
listen,
mean the long clicky clack nails?
Stilettos.
well, so too, the ones that you look at girls with their nails so long, and I'm like, how the f- do you wipe yourself, bro? Like you
Usually
definitely got
baby
some
wipes.
feces underneath your fucking nail,
it's a challenge, but it could be done. There's a lot of women. If you follow like nail technicians on Instagram, some girls will be like, "Oh, I'm doing short square or like short coffin or short almond because I want to wipe my ass." But then there are girls who are like, you know what? Screw that, extra large because
I'm just gonna get up from the toilet seat and not wipe.
Dude. Boudoirs,
bidets.
boudoirs.
Yo.
I'm like, are you saying something French?
I remember I used a bidet
Yeah.
at my my stepmom's crib. Yo, they have a bidet that obviously is automated and it uses warm water. I feel listen.
It's like someone's pissing in your butt.
Wait, what?
No. What the hell what type of shit is you on? No, but
what goes up there sometimes?
For real, bro. You on your own on that one, dog. No, but bidets are dope because when you use a bidet, bro, you feel so clean.
Yeah.
Like it's like, well, you've been to my house. Like I use flushable wipes. I just wipes just make you feel clean.
No, wipes
bro.
are elite. Wipes are honestly elite.
You feel me?
Like, just getting, bro. And then
it's clean.
It's like when you wipe and it's wet for a bit, then it dries and you just feel extra clean. I love wipes. Wipes are fucking goated.
Just make sure you get the flushable ones because if you don't, they will mess up your toilet.
They will mess up your toilet if you flush the non-flushable wipes. You hear that? Audience,
as we get into it, right? So let's go talk about our first topic of the day. Thank you guys for
listening to our rants.
Because
I would be talking about nails all day if I could.
Facts. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, and then also in the comment section, let us know how you feel about that when it comes to kinks and your partners, yo. You know what I'm saying? Also, as we get into this topic, one thing that I was talking to Nate and my team about is a lot of times we try to network with people. As we network with people, sometimes it's challenging, sometimes it goes smooth. But what really got brought to my attention, and I asked my team the other day, was people doing it for status versus doing it for the culture. What is your mindset? I want to ask you guys this. What is your mindset when it comes down to that, to break it into a term? Those who are doing it for status, do you feel as that automatically makes them a poser, that they're fake about it? Or do you think those who are actually doing it for the culture can sometimes be considered extremists? Where do you see like the gray area in that?
You
want to take that?
A question first? Yes.
Yeah.
Is that Dr. Pepper?
No, that's Coke.
Coke, and I'm about to take some more.
Darn.
Sorry.
All right.
I know.
And secondly, I think it depends on why it is that you're trying to reach the status, right? Because, as they say, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So it could be like you're trying to get up there because you believe in the culture and you know that having the status would be good to further your goals, right? Okay. So, but I see what you mean in regards to like faking it till you make it. So I guess an example would be that one politician that was pretending to be black, right? And
Roselle, the one that has an OnlyFans now.
I was just like, she has an OnlyFans, and it's not that impressive.
She don't look bad. She don't look bad. I haven't seen her OnlyFans because you already know I ain't for that.
But I didn't pay for it.
Have you seen how she looked before?
No.
Good God. Oh my God. I can see why they say it's blackface.
Yeah.
This chick looked like a kindergarten teacher before, and then after she transitioned and darkened her skin, it's funny, maybe because we're attracted to that.
Yeah. Wait, she darkened her skin?
Yeah.
So what do you? So
like she was white like you,
really
whiter than you. She basically curved out and nappied out her hair. She changed her facial construction and her we really thought she was a black chick. If there was no evidence of how she looked before, I would tell you you're fucking lying.
No, yeah, she was really passing it. It's so crazy because
she really did care about the culture. I have to say that her involvement was really unfortunately, because she wasn't honest about it, but she really did try to make moves and get involved and bring awareness into the black community.
And now she's an internet whore. So
I wouldn't say a whore.
I would.
I don't know anything about her.
How that goes.
So They're calling her blackface. Like, you know how like Kylie got the surgery and whatnot?
Yeah.
And they called her blackface, or like that time that Kim
Kylie got
Kardashian.
surgery?
Yeah,
Like,
she
you
ain't
mean her
always look like
lips?
she got her
Oh, for
lips,
her
she
lips, yeah,
darkened
yeah,
her
no,
skin,
yeah.
she made herself look more Latina. Or the time that Kim Kardashian dressed up as Aaliyah for Halloween,
Or what
and they
about,
called it blackface.
Wait, you mean Kim Kardashian or Kylie? Because I heard
Both.
you say
I'm
Kylie.
talking about both.
Okay.
The one that dressed like Aaliyah was Kim Kardashian, and she didn't. She looked like a black chick, and they were like, "Yo, that's blackface." When you literally are painting your skin black to make yourself that's blackface. But I think people take it to a further extent, like they get extremely pissed off. And here's the hypocrisy that comes behind it. A lot of black women will be like, "Oh, that's blackface. They trying to be like us." Bitch, you got fake hair that's blonde. You know what I'm saying? You got contacts that make your eyes lighter.
Yeah, you're
doing
everything.
The same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Two wrongs don't make a right. You just got to respect it for what it is.
But do you think that all the controversy behind, someone, blackface is because of the history in this country with, black people and the segregation and all that stuff?
I think
like you mentioned, if it was any other, ethnic group or, people and just people in general, they'll buy things to add onto them that's fake, hair extensions, eyelashes.
There's certain culture. Like if you look at Japan, they have a whole entire demographic group that dress like chinos and cholos. They got a whole demographic that dress like black people with their heads dreaded and whatnot.
But my thing, Japanese people get the pass for doing black people.
Why
stuff.
do you feel that way?
I guess I would just say it's the way I was conditioned by media, because whenever you would see a Japanese person when they're doing their hip hop thing, they could break dance like a motherfucker.
They're very involved in the culture. Like they actually hold it down.
They do their thing. So I would, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, I think I give Japanese people the N-word pass.
You're on your own. What about you, love?
Nigga. What's good, my nigga?
Or your video. What's that video that says? The Niger.
The ant.
The ant. Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking ant.
So what do you think, love?
Can you repeat the question, please?
So when it comes to like the blackface, would you give it a pass because of their involvement in the culture? Like, do you think it's offensive, or do you have an understanding about it?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, you're Mexican, so
Yes.
like when I see them dressed up like as cholos from the West Coast, you know what I'm saying, and they actually play it all pretty well. Like they really authentically look like Mexicans. Do you find that offensive? Because some people find it offensive, and some people appreciate it in the sense that they like the fact they're embracing the culture.
They're appreciating the culture. Okay, so here's my thing. Growing up in the media and through word of mouth, personal experiences with like other friends, you're always taught about certain things in the Black community, what you should do or what you shouldn't do out of respect. And so I always thought blackface was like wrong, because it's like, you don't discriminate, being racist is wrong. But when you apply this to a different like ethnic group, if you
when they're a minority themselves,
let's say people appreciating the Hispanic culture and its traditions, there's a fine line with anything that you shouldn't cross between appreciation and I think the word is appropriation.
But technically,
Ray said it. Robert Downey Jr. did it best. Tropic Thunder.
Dude, I had no idea about that movie.
That shit, yo.
What do you think about that?
I think it was fucking genius.
That was literally elite.
I think it was genius because
it played into his character, and
they had a strong message behind it. And that's what people. For those who don't understand, especially the younger kids, it was a joke, and I think they did. It had a reasoning behind it, because when he did blackface, he was called out by the other character. Like they literally had a black role, and instead of giving it to a black man, they gave it to an Australian dude and made him look black. You know what I'm saying? And movies do that all the time. So it was really comedy, but there was a serious of it when they talked about it in the movie.
No, it was pretty much a lampoon on like big budget Hollywood movies and like method acting and stuff like that.
Okay.
It's just sad you can't do that anymore.
Ooh. No, I mean,
in today's society,
the thing is,
we're too
you
sensitive.
still can do that, but okay. The problem with cancel culture, because that's what'll happen if you try to do it. The problem with cancel culture is once you give into it, once you start apologizing, that's when they win, right?
Facts.
Because there are plenty of people who have been canceled, but they're still doing their thing. Because when the mob came for them, they said, "Yeah, go fuck yourself. I'm gonna keep doing my thing." Facts. So, and that's what like artists and businesses and just influencers fall prey to, because they think that because once you admit that you did something wrong, that's when people have open pass, just like right, literally just come right. But if you just go like, bro, no, first off, right? And most people can't even use the cover of like, oh, it was a joke anymore. But the thing is, in my opinion, either it's all okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah, you can't filter out the bullshit.
Yeah, because like the thing with Robert Downey Jr. doing the blackface, people say that's fucked up or whatever. What about when the Wayans brothers did White Chicks? Right?
Yeah, it's whiteface.
It's still
the same shit, different toilet.
And yeah, and at least in Tropic Thunder, when Robert Downey Jr. was pretending to be black, he would like ham it up. He'd be like, "Oh yeah, like he would try his best to be a black guy," and they look at me like, "Oh yeah, you look retarded."
What you mean, you people?
Exactly.
What you mean, you people?
They look at him like he's retarded, rightfully so, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side, in White Girls, when they did that, it was played as a joke in the movie, but the characters around them took it seriously because because the idea was like, oh, this is how white girls act, right? This is how rich white girls act. So let's play it up like that. Yeah. They're always going, oh my gosh, and totally, and
Bad Barbie.
Who?
That chick. Like to me, she does blackface and she's wrong for it. Like if you're gonna do blackface,
but I don't think she does blackface. I just think she's ghetto garbage.
She's trash.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
And unfortunately, black culture has become synonymous with being ghetto. And that's just
not
unfortunate.
True,
yeah.
Because we're very educated. Yeah. Most of us have made, even still to this day, a lot of the inventions that black people have created are being used today that benefit so many people of color. So it's like that stigma that all black people are ghetto and whatnot is so fucking tiring and annoying, because if you were educated, you would know that's complete bullshit. Because every race here has a negative to it. Yeah. It doesn't matter whether you're white, Jewish, black, fucking Arab. We all have the negative side, and then we have the professional side, what you take stride and glory in. So as we go back to the question of like status versus culture, like me, I'm a biker, right? And one of the things I was talking to you guys about that really irritated the crap out of me is as I network and I meet certain individuals, and I'm not going to make this about women versus male. However, when I meet gentlemen into the bike world, not saying it's all of them, a lot of dudes I come across really do it for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Versus a lot of girls I meet in the bike world are not doing it for the culture because they think they look sexy riding in shorts and wearing it's a status. And some people might find that offensive or disrespectful. What do you feel about that? Not so much for the bike, but like you get what I'm saying in general.
Honestly, like I said, there's a very thin line between appreciating and appropriating something. And a lot of people will do something because they appreciate it. Let's say they want to go into the bike world and they think it's cool and exhilarating. It's one of these things where people have to, not more so have to, but in an example of the bike world, if a newbie comes in, what was the newbie term you called? Squids. Squids come in and they're super excited about the bike world, and then you, a veteran, come in and you're like, no, you're doing it wrong, or you're being super judgmental because it's not the way of the things. And if you think about it, now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm starting to compare this with a lot of older people in general who are, wise, and they're looking at the younger generations, like either their grandkids or just kids in general. And they're like, back in my day, if I did that, it would be super disrespectful. Oh, that's how not the things should be. Oh, respect your elders and that. And then you see the younger generation coming in and just being rebellious and wanting to change things up. And so
I think that's the problem there. And this is where I have a problem with the older generation, right? Just respect it for what it is. You can't get mad because you guys are a generation where you have learned to express yourself. And because the generation before you didn't have that opportunity. It's not that they didn't have the opportunity, because let's be real, they chose not to.
Yeah.
And it's like you're a hater at that point. Like me and the culture, the problem I have with squids, right? It's not so much that they don't wear the right gear and they're putting their life at risk. It's like, yo, I remember I told my homegirl, she's a writer. Shout out to, S1000 Slim Shady. Love you, mama. I always got on her about gear because I don't want to know you if you're not going to take consideration, like, yo, already in the bike world, this is the most selfish decision we can make for ourselves. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Why would I want to be your friend if you're not going to basically be willing to protect yourself? Because that's not fair to me. For me to basically become cool with you and vibe with you and have a respect and end up having that intimacy when it comes to relationship where I actually care about you, but you're not even doing what you got to do to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Nobody wants to be friends with somebody who's reckless because it's going to play with your emotions. You get what I'm saying? Like one chick, she's riding with flip-flops. You're on a fucking 1300cc. It takes something like that to go wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's not if, it's when. So I was like, stop being a squid, because you know right from wrong. And the same thing goes with status when it goes for those who do it for the culture and do it for a status. There's also a problem for those who do it for the culture because they're so fucking extreme.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, there has to be balance. Yo, I'm a rider, dude. And because I'm a rider, I'm not going to basically be like on the top of like, nah, you're wrong. Like, nah, I'm going to try to understand. Facts. Side note, finally get to see you guys live. Haha. Tell Ben it's Jones here checking in. Y'all keep this podcast 100 all day, dog. We appreciate the love. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. When it really comes into it, man, I feel like social media is literally the all root to that problem. Because mind you, if you want to do it for status, cool, but at least educate yourself about it. Don't be oblivious and ignorant, because that's when it gets offensive. It's like you being Hispanic, us being Haitians. You get what I'm saying? When someone indulges in our culture and they shit on it because they don't take it serious, they're doing it for the status. It's like, do you understand what it took for us to actually make this a culture? At least have the respect for it. But for those who do have the respect of it, you can't be an asshole and get upset because they're not knowledgeable about it. If we want things to be correct for the older cats out there, we as the older generation, the ones who are doing it for the culture, have to educate them. You know what I'm saying? It's very fucking stupid for us to be like, oh, you don't understand. That's it. Yeah. Like, no, that's not how this works. And that's what leads to that disconnect. If we're not willing to basically mix and educate each other and understand each other, the message gets lost. You ever heard that saying, if it wasn't for the messenger, the war would be lost?
Yeah.
Why? The messenger is the most important person in war. And I'm not saying this is war, but without the message, how can you clearly understand what's going on? Yes.
I was raising my hand. I saw this clip of a podcast on TikTok. The podcast is called Suburb Talks. They're really cool. You guys should check it out. And there's a few girls on the podcast, you know, they're of Asian descent. And so they're basically talking about the Asian culture. I think one of them specifically was Korean. And so they were talking about how their elders, you know, their grandparents, the Asian elders are very traditional. And so they were basically saying that every time, you know, the family gets together, all the, you know, Asians, you know, and I think some Hispanics can agree to this too, where you see them and they immediately go for the hug or the kiss or, you know, and, you know, a lot of the younger generations are like, you know, respect my personal space. I don't appreciate you guys doing that.
I think to that effect, that shit's booty. Booty is
at least I know, at least for Hispanics, you can get some backlash, but you can still try to fight back. At least the way that she was saying was, you can't really fight back because that's a really big sign of disrespect. And I think that just goes to show that every culture is different in regards to the elders and the older generation, you know. And personally, for my, you know, speaking just me, my opinion, you know, if I see a family member, like if I go into a group family party, mind you, I'm not close with I have a big family on my mom's side, but on my dad's side, not so much. But even if I did and I was exposed to all these people, as Hispanic, it's courtesy to say hi to them by kissing them on the cheek. But if it's so many people, oh my God, that's like so many kisses on the cheek. It's like, okay, hi, this and that. And for me personally, I would rather just wave. And a few years ago, I would feel so guilty. I'm like, damn, like that felt like really disrespectful. I probably should have just leaned in for a kiss and said hi to them. But I don't know you. I don't feel comfortable. That's my anxiety talking. Like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable saying hi to you. I don't know you. I say hi. I kiss someone on the cheek if I know them because I love you. You're my friend. You're my loved one. How are you doing? If I don't know you, I don't know if you're Hispanic or not. How do I say hi to you if you lean in? Okay.
Well, I think that gets a little bit crazy because that's something I had to conform to because like you're being Haitian. Remember, like we had to get up and give because like we all had that one cousin or aunt that had like a beard like ours that was very sharp and felt like fucking a Brillo pad.
Even now, whenever I come home or whatever, my mom was like, "Oh, you saw me, you didn't say anything." Right? You have to always greet the elders when you.
And she's not wrong. She's not wrong, but sometimes it's hard to say. No, Liv Jones, tradition is always the way. The best way to look at it is you must keep up with evolving the world / evolution. I agree. No, I agree. You move with the times. And here's the thing, if you're not willing to move with the times, you can't be mad when certain individuals don't understand you because literally you're cutting yourself off. Having an open mind is the best way to grow as a person. Doesn't mean you have to change how you are, who you are. But what's up? You know what I'm saying? You gotta basically open up in that sense. Like be proud about that. I think it's beautiful when people indulge in our culture.
Yeah.
I just have a problem when they take it in an advantage situation and use it for their own personal gain. That's when it's insult. You remember like when Black Lives Matter was going on, you had all these Instagram models holding up, black people this in the air. They don't give a shit. It was a status.
Black Lives Matter did more to hurt the black plight, in my opinion, than actually advance it.
Take the rest. I'm sorry.
Why do I think that? You say because just look at what the founders of the movement did with all the money that they earned. They bought houses, right, for themselves. And how did they
to them it was a status. It was never about the culture.
How did they rationalize for themselves? I think, and don't quote me on this, but she said something along the lines of, she had to do it for her family to look out for them, right? She was doing this for the black community and her family.
The black community as a scapegoat.
Her family is a part of the black community, so it makes sense that she does this to help her family out. This and the third, right? And you hear that and you're thinking, okay, this lady's just full of shit, right? She took all the money from all these people and decided to use it for her own gain. Like you see that this is like classic. Like taking advantage of whatever crisis is happening to profit off of it 101.
What she did is no different than what these mega churches do.
No,
they take the misery and pain of people who are struggling and use it. Like, did you see the video with the female pastor? Oh my God, it's so cringe.
No.
So she's doing her little congregation and she's like, God right now is telling me 21 people out here are going to donate $1,000. You know, God's talking to you. We need $1,000 from you. There's 21 people here. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It gets even worse. You think whether you got the cash, put it on your credit card. If you want to receive your blessing, you got to give $1,000. What the fuck?
It's cringe and it's predatory.
Yeah, and that pushes people away. Here's the thing. That pushes away because, again, you have someone who's in the culture because church and Christianity is a culture. And then you have these mega pastors who are doing it for status.
Yeah.
They don't give a damn about the culture. So, final thoughts on that, love.
We went on a rant.
Yes, we did.
So,
but it did tie together.
My brain is kind of jumbled.
Jumbly wumbled. No, you
go first, Ben.
Shit.
I guess depending on your intentions, reaching for status could either be a benefit to your movement or group or whatever that you're a part of, or it could be its detriment. Like I said, the path to hell is paved with good intention, right? So, there are people who do it for the culture, there are people who do it for the status, and there are people who do it, who get the status because they care for the culture. It depends on the individual and what means or what ends you're trying to get and what means you're willing to pursue as a result of that. So yeah, all I'm gonna say is it depends.
Yeah,
but there are plenty of people that do it because they don't care, right?
Just don't be
like the fucking like FEMA or PETA.
PETA, like the animal
people.
Oh god, those people
or BLM or
Antifa, Blue Lives Matter. Yeah, it's all the same shit.
It's literally all the same shit. So all the same shit. These are people that they see that there's a market for people that are willing to support a cause and they're willing to give their hard-earned fucking money for it
for a personal gain.
And so they're going to exploit that. And you know what? I don't fault them. It is a bad thing, but we're in America. This is capitalism. Like,
this is America.
If you can make money off of it, then go ahead and make your money off of it, right? And you decide whether or not how well you rest your head at night in regards to your actions.
Agreed.
So at the end of that, it's like whatever,
Nate, final thoughts?
What he said.
Are you really gonna say ditto?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. So my final thoughts on it is more of like, listen, man, we're all educated to know better. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that eventually we come to the realization that it's like, even though it's oil and vinegar, they still go together. They just don't mix. And that's okay. And the reason I say they go together, when you're making a sandwich, you use oil and vinegar, even though they don't mix. But putting those two together literally makes shit better. In this case,
makes your shit sloppier.
I didn't say all that. So now, guys, we're going to talk about our governor, DeSantis. And this is where it gets heavy. And I want you guys to be brutally honest and express how you feel about this, because this is going to be 4 segments going into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about DeSantis, being that you guys are young, being that we live here in Miami. How do you feel about this concealed weapons law where you no longer need a concealed permit to carry a firearm? How does that make you feel? Where do you feel that it's beneficial? And where do you feel that it could be possibly destructive? We'll start with you, love.
Please go into detail.
You need me to go into detail?
No, I mean, honestly, I don't know enough about that law, right?
Yeah. So,
like, if I'm going off of face value and it's you don't need a permit for a concealed carry anymore. If I'm going off of purely face value, this is what I think about it.
You want me to explain it first?
Yeah, go for it,
please.
Okay, so, this man signed into effect where you have a firearm, you no longer need to take a class. You no longer need to have a permit. And literally, you are able now in the state of Florida to conceal your weapon without having the proper requirements to do it. The proper requirements was a class. The proper requirement was a psychological evaluation. The proper requirement was to learn the laws of what you can and what you can't do. He literally took that away.
Why?
Well, we'll talk about that when it comes into that terms. But what I want to know for you guys, how does that make you feel? What are your concerns? Do you feel it's beneficial? Do you feel that it's going to hurt us? And why? We'll start with Ben.
Hold on.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, don't fix nothing if it ain't broke?
Yes, constantly.
This is what I feel like this applies to. Like, what is he trying to fix? I mean, okay, look. I understand what he's trying to, if we're going on that context, I understand if you're trying to fix something. But in this case, I feel like he's doing the opposite.
Okay.
Like, why would you... all the school shootings in America that have been going on, like, why would you do something?
Do you really feel that applies to that law when it comes to concealed? Because the thing is...
okay, wait. Okay, so to be very honest, truthfully honest, I don't own a firearm. I know you know more information about this than I do. I obviously could be wrong, based on, if you collect enough data and all the school shootings that have happened, maybe they're getting it from people who were. rightfully concealed. Who knows? There's a lot of variables to take in hand. In regards to this specific deal that was made, like, why would he do that? That just sounds.
What are your concerns?
My concerns are. I don't want to say people are gonna have their firearms on them because they like. I feel like. Do you think that before they did have them on them? It's that, Jason, I don't know anything about this. Like, before the law was taken into place, like, what were people doing? Did they have their firearms with the permit? Are people going to have their firearms, that didn't have them before?
So
I don't know how to put it into words. That's the thing.
The situation.
Okay. So let's let's just break it down for the people that I'm reading up on it now, and right, because like this is what I mean when I said like at face value, this is what I think about it. I don't think it's necessarily wrong, because in my opinion, an armed society is a polite society, right? If people have guns and everyone knows that everyone has a gun, then no one's gonna want to act out. I mean, regularly. Most people who have guns, a vast majority of people who have guns aren't the types of people that exist outside of society, on the fringe of society, where they're just one bad day away from shooting up a school, right? Most people who own a gun aren't crazy, right? Yeah. We can agree on that, right? Most people who aren't crazy. There are definitely people who get guns and they hurt people. That is definitely true. And I believe that it's like, who is it hurting if you have a gun and no one knows that you have a gun, right? And so I'm reading up on this, and it's not like this law doesn't make open carry legal, right? You can't just openly brandish a weapon out in public and it'll be okay, right? You still have to have it concealed. You just don't need a permit for the concealed carry. You still have to go through certain things like the regular process to get the gun, but after you get the gun, you don't have to go through training. So you have to go through training. You don't have to do the firearms practice, and there isn't an additional background check done on you after you get the gun, right? And so there are still like certain restrictions in place, right? You just can't, even if it's concealed, you just can't take the gun anywhere, right? There are still places where you can't take the gun.
Would you agree?
No, but here's the thing, right? You could say like, oh, what's going to stop people from taking them to those places, right? And what's going to stop them from taking those places are the armed law enforcement, right? So it's like I mean, but truthfully, right? It's either the armed law enforcement or someone else with a gun.
Well, if I may break it, why I don't like it for so many reasons, right? Now, one of the main reasons is you have to be 21 to buy a handgun. All right. You're talking about back in the day, to get your concealed weapons, you had to take a class. Yeah. You have to learn where you can take it, where you can't take it. When you bypass all that, it's like giving somebody the keys to the car and not requiring them to have to take a physical or written portion of it to learn how to operate the vehicle and to learn how to drive, and have an instructor there with you. You're just literally giving them the car and say, hey.
No, I agree fun. That is problematic, that part right there. But I don't necessarily think it's wrong I don't think permitless concealed carry is wrong, but I do think it's wrong that they've removed the requirements to get it.
I think
I think that is wrong.
Right.
The reason I think it's wrong is because without structure, you have chaos. Right. Now, when you're talking about the school shootings, unfortunately, that doesn't apply to that. And the reason I apply, what makes a criminal a criminal?
They do things outside the law.
Yeah,
right?
No matter what laws you put into place, they're not going to follow it. That's what makes them a criminal. So no matter what gun laws you put out there, it's never going to apply to them because they don't fucking follow the law. But here's where I have a problem with it, because it's like, number one, when you have your concealed weapons permit, it's not just for a gun. It's for a baton. It's for a knife. It's for mace. It's for a whole bunch of things.
Okay.
And if you don't have to learn about the responsibilities, what you can and can't do, you are asking for problems. And the reason you're asking for problems is the most dangerous thing you can have is an individual who is highly emotional, who doesn't know the rules. You know what I'm saying? When you don't know the rules, that's the problem. And you literally took that away. Now, mind you, yes, I do believe everyone has a right to bear arms. But at least when you had to get you concealed, you put yourself in a system, right, where you have literally been validated that you have the knowledge, you've gone through the process to earn that privilege. Because having a concealed weapons permit and being able to carry your firearm outside your home is a privilege, not a right. It is a right to defend your house. It is a right to defend your compound. But when you're out here, can you imagine? Half these dudes now could carry the gun, but they don't know you can't go into a bar. Why don't they know? Because they didn't have to take the class and learn that shit. So we're literally going to run into a lot of problems. Not to mention, Mr. DeSantis put a law out there that says stand your fucking ground. Now, you're telling me we have stand your ground law and I don't have to take any training to hold my firearm outside? Do you know what type of chaos is going to happen? Go ahead, love.
I have a question. Do you think this law was put into place for a deeper meaning?
Yes.
Like
it's racist as hell.
Like, okay, so you said you don't need a permit to have a concealed carry on, and you no longer have to take the classes. And because you don't take those classes, there's people out here who will have the concealed carry, walk into a bar, but they don't know they're not supposed to take into a bar because they didn't take the class. Thus fulfilling its purpose of passing the law, getting people to go into said bar and then getting arrested.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with that, right? Again, like I get what you're saying, but walking into places where guns are not permitted. Yeah, are not permitted. The removal of the concealed carry does not remove the ability to walk into somewhere that prohibits guns, right?
I mean, like introducing people who are new to owning guns and don't take the classes and don't know it. So I feel like, do you think it's a deeper meaning of not people who are already in the system because they know better, but new people who don't know better?
I guess I could see it as this just creates an excuse for more chaos, and then that ensuing chaos that would give the government reason to impose more police force in said areas and stuff like that, and then that could then turn into more instances of police brutality and things of that nature. Well,
not even, because the problem is we live in Florida. By law, we're not required to tell a police officer if we have a gun on us or not. That's fucking nuts. Can you imagine? We live in a state where if I get pulled over, I do not have to tell. By law, I'm not required to tell the officer if I have a gun or not.
Yep.
Do you know how problematic that is? That puts their life at danger. Because now what that's going to do, nobody in their right mind wants to get shot.
Nope.
You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine now officers know that possibly anybody could be carrying a fucking gun? Because at least when you got pulled over, I gave you my license, I give you my concealed. The concealed of me giving you my concealed was me being courteous to let you know I do have a firearm in the car. It was already bad enough. I didn't have to tell you. I only did it out of being
is that a thing?
But the thing with that is,
now you don't even have to do that.
I think
it makes the officer's job a lot harder now. And then now you're gonna have officers who are literally highly,
anxious
because they know this factor now. So you're gonna see a lot of problems.
I personally only see that for non-responsible gun owners, because I don't think.
But what is a responsible gun owner in your opinion?
So with the concealed carry law, right? A responsible gun owner would be someone that, as you said, out of courtesy, hey, here's my concealed carry. I do have a weapon in the car, things of that nature, right? Remove the concealed carry. You can still go, hey, I have a weapon in the car. It's not loaded, and it's either it's in the fucking lockbox in my trunk, whatever, right? Like there are precautions that responsible gun owners go through to make sure that their weapon isn't a danger to anyone that might be handling.
But now that's not required.
No, what's not required is having a permit for it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so back in the day, right, when you did need a permit, say you didn't have a permit, and you had your gun in the car, you had to do what they call the 3-step process. The 3-step process was you had to have your gun locked up, you had to have the magazine, right, separate. So step 1, take the key, put it in open up the glove box.
Yeah.
That's step 1. Step 2, taking out the firearm. That's step 2. Step 3 was putting the magazine in it. When you have it concealed, you don't have to do that because you already took the class, you took the training.
Mm-hmm.
Now, knowing that you don't have to do that, guess what? You have an emotional person.
Yeah.
Where we live in a society that is now based on feelings. People look for attention. And now you just put a law into effect where they're going to take advantage of that.
So
you know what I'm saying?
I think what that is, that removing the concealed carry doesn't necessarily make it easier to get a gun. It just makes it so that it makes
a more hostile environment.
Yeah, it just makes it so that people with less knowledge about guns, who don't see guns as what they are, tools that should be taken very seriously, then that could cause problems. In regards to that, the only thing I can see is that time will tell what that result will be, because in my honest opinion, I think that most people on an individual level are sensible. An overwhelming majority of people on the individual level, not crowds, because when you get the mob mentality, all reason goes out the window, shit goes crazy. But on the individual level, people are reasonable. So if you introduce a law that you no longer need a permit to carry a weapon, right? Then again, an armed society is a polite society. Most people do not want to get shot, even if they have a gun themselves. So they're not gonna branister their weapon unless absolutely necessary, right? And even then, people, even if you have a gun, unless you can. You're not being told to run into gunfire. Like if you're standing outside of a mall and you hear someone shooting, if you go in there to shoot the shooter,
you're more likely to shoot somebody innocent and get yourself killed, because be in trouble. The police don't know who you are. They just see a dude with a gun.
So,
and that's happened before.
Yeah, it has. And the thing is, guns should only really be used for self-defense. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you can go out looking for trouble. You know.
But in the class, you get taught that.
No. Yeah. Yes, but at the same time, right? The rhetoric that's being taught about guns now is that guns kill people, guns are dangerous, yada yada. That's being pushed everywhere. So I believe that even the person with the least amount of knowledge and gun safety, gun handling, they still understand a gun to be something that in the wrong hands is dangerous.
Yeah.
So it would be upon them subconsciously to not act out, even if they do have a gun. Now, I'm not saying that it's not a good thing. It's really not. People who have guns need to be taught how to properly use them and clean them and things of that nature. But at the same time, I don't think it's as big a problem as some people might make it out. Because here's the thing, after reading this, I learned, and this I didn't even know, I learned that there are already 25 other states that have permitless concealed, right? Yeah. And so then you have to look at the statistics. What's the gun violence like in those states?
If I might piggyback off that. Yeah. Well, real quick, LAX Mia said, Gov Newsom and Cali had a pretty argument on adding security layers on gun control. I hear what you're saying, right? But you have factors that make it dangerous.
Yeah.
What makes it really dangerous, in my opinion, is because we live in a state that has stand your ground laws. This is why when he decided to take away that permit, it's a racist situation. And the reason it's racist situations, who do you think owns more firearms?
In the state.
In the state. What race do you think that is?
Hispanics. In this state, Hispanics. I'm being honest. That's my
how. Like this is Florida.
Like you could say, like, I guess the obvious answer would be white people, right? That's the obvious answer. But
you're saying Hispanics. Yeah. I need you to think outside of that.
Yeah.
We're in Florida. We got Lakeland. We got Tallahassee. We got Gainesville. This is predominantly a white state, Republican. We're not talking about Broward. We're not talking about Dade County.
Miami.
We're not talking South Miami or South Florida. We're talking about Florida. Florida has some, and not to mention, DeSantis also added stand your ground law applies in your vehicle. We all saw that individual on the 95 who shot through his windshield because some dude got in a road rage argument with him and threw a fucking water bottle at him, and he shot through his windshield.
I mean, was he wrong for it?
Yes.
But why? It's like this though.
But if the stand your ground law didn't apply to that man would be in fucking handcuffs, because when you shot through that windshield,
you're putting other people's lives at risk.
Everyone else's life in danger.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
That's where I find it critical. Okay, you want people to be able to have a gun without having the paperwork. All right, cool, not having a license, but we have stand your ground law.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Honestly,
Trayvon Martin.
Yeah,
that applied to stand your ground law.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not gonna say the only, but the most popular instance of the stand your ground law being used irreparably would be the Trayvon Martin situation, right? And then because I haven't looked into it, that's the one that's the most popular to me, and that's what I understand as the most egregious use of it. But
do you know how the stand your ground law works?
No.
It's really fucked up. So say your mans, your girls walking on the street and I'm by myself. And you guys, I feel like you guys are following me and I feel threatened.
Yeah.
I literally could fucking light you guys up like a concert and it would be justified because I felt in fear for my life. And now, because there is no permit, no class, no education required to have that gun out on whether, it's concealed, without me having that knowledge, you're talking about people being highly sensitive and emotionally driven. We saw what happened on South Beach during spring break where Buddy was gunned down like an animal in the street.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can you imagine? Oh, wow, this person beeped their horn at me. They made me feel threatened. I didn't know if they're going to run me down, so I shot through my windshield and I lit their ass up.
Yeah.
And if they could prove that you were in fear of your life, it's justified. Half the times, if you think about most incidents with police officers where they killed an unarmed individual, what is the one question? It wasn't that if they were wrong for the stop. It wasn't that they were wrong for the actions. They always ask, was the officer in fear for his life? If they could literally prove that the officer was in fear for his life, it's justified. Philando Castro, may he rest in peace, was murdered because he was in his car. Let the police officer let him know he had it concealed. Asked for his wallet. And as he's reaching for his wallet, 3 times to the chest. And the question wasn't it that he did a fake traffic stop because there was no tail light on? There was no reason for the actual traffic stop that was justified. It wasn't. But it didn't even care about that. They asked, was this officer truly in fear for his life? And because he was, it was justified.
Yeah.
And that's the problem I have. Because when you have a situation where, if I feel in fear of my life and I light your ass up, it's justified, that's crazy. That is literally crazy. And because they don't know where they could take, like Flanagan's, right? I could take my gun in Flanagan's. But because I took the course, I also know the law. The law states if I want to I can only go to a place where they serve food. I cannot sit at the bar. I have to sit on the far end of the bar. I have to use a waitress. I cannot get up and walk my way over to get myself a drink.
Yeah.
These people don't know that. You know what I'm saying? And because we're highly emotional, can you imagine you see a dude at the fucking bar and his weapon is brandishing? Now that dude who's concealed, he didn't take the class. He didn't have to learn that you can't do that. Say you feel threatened. You don't know if this dude is a police officer or anything. He could be looking like a thug. And if you have liquor in your system, like, oh my God, this dude might rob the place. I got my gun on me too.
Yeah.
Pew, pew. Now we're in a firefight. But at least if they took the course and they learned that they can't do that, it basically brings a calm to the storm that they have created. Education is everything. And the fact that there's a lack of education behind this about what you can and can't do, they could just let you have your gun now and you could ride through the streets with that shit. We're talking about some serious problems, yo. Especially when people are so emotional. You looking at my girl? I'm going to shoot you. Oh, I felt like he was threatening me and my girl because he was getting slick. He kept looking at her. As long as you felt fearful, hey, it is what it is. You get what I'm saying? So final thoughts on that, love.
I agree with you with what you're saying. It's hard to form any thoughts because, like I mentioned, I'm not too well educated on the subject. But I appreciate you shedding light on it because now I know.
Yeah.
What about you, Ben?
I honestly, what you're saying is true, and poignant, unfortunately. But I also say at the same time, I think that there is a very small, and it should be zero, but that's just not the case. There's a small amount of people that would actually be willing, even if put in the situation where using their gun would be just, would actually use their gun. I honestly believe it takes a certain kind of individual to actually want to fire upon, a perpetrator or a suspect, what have you, even when thrust within the situation. I think that not even a good majority, but I think a lot of gun owners have guns, or they carry their guns in public, concealed or otherwise, for a sense of security. Because I understand that, and they have it on them to not want to use it, right? I don't think that there's an overwhelming majority of
no.
Oh, okay. I don't think there's an overwhelming majority of people that when they have their guns, they're just ecstatic about walking around with it in public. I honestly don't believe that. I mean, Jason, you legally have firearms. Are you, right? When you have your gun, are you like, hell yeah, I got my gun on me? Or you're like, damn, I really hope I don't have to fucking use this thing.
Like I told y'all before, when I have my gun, I'm on high alert, man. I really don't get to have peace of mind. Like if a nigga talk shit to me, I have to walk away. If I ain't got my gun, I could play.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So I personally don't believe that I don't believe that it's going to be as big a problem, but I did just read something. I Googled gun violence in permitless carry states, and I'm just reading the headline. This isn't backed up by anything. I can't guarantee this is fact, so take this with a grain of salt. The first thing that pops up just says, why permitless carry is bad for Florida. Studies show that weakening public carry laws is associated with a 13 to 15% increase in violent crime rates, as well as an 11% increase in rates of homicides committed with handguns. Now, it says study shows. I don't have the links to these studies, nothing in that. This is just what I'm reading, right? I'm not clicking on any links. It's the first thing that popped up, right? And without the proper evidence and data, you can just come to as many conclusions as you want, right? And so what I say to that is, it definitely is an opening of Pandora's box. You cannot deny that because of this is going to result in something that was either foreseen or unforeseen, right? And in my personal opinion, if they're going to remove permits, then they should make it that much harder to get a gun. And I believe that the punishment
should be more severe.
Yeah, the punishment for discharging your firearm in an unlawful manner should be way more severe. And when investigating whether or not using your firearm was just should be that much more. They should
More
put it that much more strict, right? Because if you're gonna give them this, there has to be something to balance it out. If you're gonna make it so that motherfuckers don't need licenses to conceal their weapons, right? Even though you still need to legally own that firearm. So, right, let's say that someone in their infinite wisdom decides like, oh, I just picked up this gun from this guy or whatever, and now I can just you still need a G license, right? But you don't need the concealed. So if you get fucking jammed up and you try to use the excuse that you don't need a permitless, you can conceal carry without a permit. If you don't have your G license, that's still your ass. So it's not like nothing has changed in regards to getting a gun. But I still do believe that because you don't need the permit to conceal the weapon, it should be that much harder to get the gun, right? Because,
well, if I may give my final thoughts on it, right? I personally feel, and not to go off on a whole different another level, I have a problem where you can't drink till you're 21, but we could send you to war at 17. I have a problem that you can't rent a full-size car till you're 25. I think if this is going to be the case, raise the age that is required to have a handgun. And the reason why I say that, at 21, you're not 100% maturely evolved yet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't have that much to lose when you're young, especially being emotionally driven. I feel like if you were to raise the age limit, just like I said, you need to be 25 to rent a full-size car. You should be 25 in order to have a firearm and carry it concealed. You could be 21 to defend your home.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's too young for you to have a gun out here, especially when
you're
very sensitive.
So I had something
not
to say.
all, but
I had something to say about you raising the age of being able to legally purchase a firearm because like in regards to guns, I would say keep the age at 18. Because if you can go to war at fucking 17,
yes,
right?
I get that.
If you can go to war, if they're gonna raise the age for owning a gun, they should raise the age for who can be drafted into the military, right?
So but that would never happen because when you talk about that, the older you are, the harder you are to take advantage of. Because you're aware. So that's why they preferably go for young kids.
That's just wishful thinking. But what I'm trying to say is, if they're gonna raise the age, and they should raise the age for other things that require people to either take lives or have their lives taken from them, right? And on top of that, I believe that it starts with the parents in regards to responsible gun ownership for minors, or people below the legal age of purchasing a firearm. So even if they were to raise it, I still think it lies on the parents or guardians, or right. And that's why I think that if you are going to get a gun, it should be harder, and you should also be punished more severely if you were to do something out of turn with it, because this is essentially an honor system now. This is essentially an honor system. If you don't need a permit, if we're not going to make you do the class, we're not going to make you go through the training. If you get the gun legally, it's your fucking gun. Walk around with it if you want. But best believe, buddy, if you try to act out with it, you're gonna go down hard.
I think you should be hit with the maximum. Like there should be no wage. Like you deserve to basically deal with the repercussions to the fullest extent.
I want people to have guns. I myself, I want people to have guns because it is our right to have them.
You have the right to bear arms and defend your compound.
Yeah.
But that's why I say it's a privilege when you get to, because so the whole Second Amendment was put in order for us to defend ourselves against dictatorship and
tyrannical government.
That's why we have the right to bear arms. You get what I'm saying? But unfortunately, there's individuals who take that and they go to the extreme with it. So not to stay on topic, I want to go into another topic with you guys. I think this one's basically, I really want to get your input. DeSantis, again, put in effect of a law that basically goes after immigrants, where if you have undocumented immigrants working for your company, you will be fined and possibly have your company shut down. How do y'all feel about that?
Hot take. You want my hottest take on it?
Yeah.
I think it's a good thing.
Why?
Because I believe that, again, hot take, I understand. But it's like this. There are plenty of people who are immigrants.
Real quick. LAX Mia says, I agree, but the right was written during the era of muskets. Guns have evolved and our mindset as well. Well, my argument to that, so has our military.
Yep.
You got to fight fire with fire. You got to
keep up. Yeah. Fucking, it was muskets to other muskets and cannons, right? Galleons and, right? And mortars and stuff like that. So I think of course, like the founding fathers didn't have the idea of an AR or a fucking or RPG or any of that stuff in mind, but they recognized the need for warfare, and so
because that's what they left.
Right. So I believe, and you can interpret it any way you want, but I believe they essentially wrote that into the Constitution to be like, look, whatever the arms is, because when they say arms, they're not talking about guns, they're just talking about weapons.
Yeah,
so
be able to defend yourself against a tyranny.
Yeah, because like they can't conceptualialize laser beams, right? But we got fucking laser. We have energy weapons now, right?
Pulse.
Exactly. We have fucking what's that shit? We have rail guns, fucking direct energy weapons, stuff like that. The founding fathers did not conceptualize that, right? They just said you need to have the proper tools to defend yourself and have a well-regulated militia. That, and the third. So that the reason why they made it so vague is because they themselves couldn't see the future in regards,
but they prepared for it,
right? So that's that.
But to go back to the immigration,
back to the immigrants thing,
why you think that's a good
because
thing?
There are plenty of people who immigrated into this country legally, and they're unable to get work because companies recognize that the illegal immigrants will just work for a lot less than the legally immigrated people. On top of that, there are people who came here illegally, and then because they recognize the value of being a citizen, they went through the naturalization process. And I think that if we continue to allow illegals to come into the country and take jobs away from people who actually want to be citizens here, then that diminishes what they had to do in order to get where they are if they're just going to be on the same level as people who come here illegally, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but I personally, I don't think that's okay, right? And there are people who come in here with good intentions to make a life for themselves and their family, and that's great and that's awesome. We have things in place that will allow you to become a citizen so that you can fully have all those rights available to you. And I don't necessarily think it's fair to the people who went through it to be on the same level as people who do it illegally.
Okay.
That's just my take. It's a hot take, and it's not, and it is not as
I do disagree
educated.
with you, but I'm gonna explain why.
Oh, yeah. And it's not as educated, so I don't really look into this stuff that much. This is just like my knee-jerk reaction, this kind of stuff. So if I'm more than happy to discourse.
What about you, love?
So to get a job in this country, a lot of jobs, you know, they ask you your basic personal information, name, address. Sometimes they'll, you know, if you have a work permit, they'll ask you if you have the, you know, a work permit.
Visa.
A work visa. Some jobs I think ask you for like your social and this and that. They ask you for proper documentation about you. You have to go through a whole process of onboarding to apply, interview, background checks. It's heavy to get into some companies. And I'm talking about companies, I'm talking about like jobs. Sometimes even retail jobs. Illegal immigrants don't have these documentations to get these kinds of jobs. So if you think about it, what jobs are left that don't require you to have all these documentation for your onboarding process? Hard labor jobs. And there was a video going around as soon as DeSantis hit the law, and it was this guy doing street interviews. He stood outside this building. I forgot what the building is called, but it's where people go to when they need to look for jobs, and they place them in like, I guess, temporary jobs. And these were American citizens, you know, looking for any job they can. And this guy interviewing goes up to people coming in and out of the building saying, hey, just a question. You guys are looking for jobs, right? Yeah, I have this job opportunity. And at first they were like, okay, what is it? And he explained, oh, it's a dairy farm. You have to milk cows it's like a graveyard shift from like a 2 a.m. until like noon. It's almost a 12-hour shift. And people were like, ooh, that's like right in the middle of the night. So a large portion of people were complaining about, it's the middle of the night, I don't like the shift. A smaller portion was like, oh, I don't like doing that job. And like one guy said, I already did that job when I was younger and I don't want to do it now, which is reasonable. I mean, I guess, you know, he's a lot older, but that just like goes to show the only jobs left to that don't require an onboarding process are hard labor jobs.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you. I don't want to do a hard labor job. That's just me. That's okay. But if you do ask a lot of immigrants, a lot of and immigrants, specifically Hispanics, you know, they grow up with you're a hard worker. You as far as my mom, you know, she grew up in a single parent household. She also grew up poor. So at a young age, she worked around the house to keep it stable. She had a bunch of other siblings, so it was, you know, divided work. And as soon as she was of age, you know, starting to get a good job because, you know, she recognized the hardship it is to be poor. You know, she realized, hey, I want this out of my life, and if I want this, I need to work hard for it. And she also, you know, came into this country to work to send money because at the time my brother was a toddler. You know, she her house was, you know, not a very good house. So from anecdotes and like experiences from her, I understand the hardship where people come from, where all that they are looking for is to you know, you grow up on the American dream. You grow up on, okay, I can go to a country where, you know, it's possible, you know, I can own my own business. Countries like, for example, Cuba, they don't have that privilege. It's a dictatorship. Obviously, not all our countries are like Cuba, but some countries, you know, you are also based on your status don't have opportunities that you could where like you came here. Now, this is some of the mindsets people have when they think of like this country, you know, at least back then. I don't know about now, but with this law being taken in place, they are going to see the consequences to their actions, because nowadays they're already seeing it. A lot of companies. Well,
before you get into that, right?
Right.
So here's one thing that you guys have to understand. When they talk about immigrants, when it comes to like Hispanics, when it comes to like islanders, they're not the problem. The majority of immigrants who are here are usually from Europe on expired visas.
Okay.
And these are the individuals who are truly hurting the economy. Because like you said yourself, the jobs that the Hispanics, like the people from the third world country are coming from, they're doing the jobs that Americans don't want to do. But when you talk about immigration problems, the majority of the immigration problems in the United States are individuals who are on expired visa, the privileged.
Okay.
So the reason why I disagree with you, Ben, is number one, when it comes to basically putting this into effect, when it comes to the ones cutting the grass, when it comes to one building these houses, when it comes to the hard work and labor on these fields, Americans alone don't want to do these jobs. Okay, let's just make that fucking clear. We live in a country where the citizens of this country are so fucking spoiled. Most of them don't know a hard days of work. Now, here where I have a problem with DeSantis doing this, right? To keep this economy going, what keeps it afloat is honestly the immigrants. This is statistically proven.
Yeah.
They keep it going. So when you say you're happy about it, I have a problem with it, because guess what? 9 out of 10 times, the hard work that you need to get done is going to be done by an immigrant. I don't believe in taking the food out of any man's mouth, especially where they're doing it legally, in the sense they're not here robbing nobody. They're trying to make a fucking living. Now, when you put this effect into work, you're punishing businesses, but they also did expose something. Now, we all know immigrants are some of the most underpaid individuals for some of the hardest work. When you did that, you crippled the economy in this fucking state. It is literally showing now. Even within his own party, it's hurting him. Because guess what? The ones who were putting your banners out and promoting your shit, they were immigrants. They're doing the jobs that Americans don't want. The average Americans, oh, they're taking our job. I don't see no immigrants taking a fucking nursing job. I don't see immigrants taking an engineer job. Exactly.
They can't.
But
there's an onboarding process. But that's the thing that argument is faulty on.
It's faulty. But what I'm saying is that's the bullshit they're not thinking about. Yeah. When you hear immigrants, they make it seem like they're taking your fucking job.
Corporate job.
Like they're not taking your corporate job, because they can't even get it if they wanted to. So when you put this effect into place, what you did was you crippled our economy, because we're Florida. We're a state that is massive land, massive agriculture. And again, the ones working these jobs were the immigrants. So now these immigrants packed up this shit. They're going to Georgia. Can you imagine? You have your company, say you own a lawn maintenance company. You're being told you're about to get fined, and you're possibly going to lose your business now because they're scared to work. Yeah. They're trying to survive. But what it does do is it shows how criminal these businesses are. Because guess what? If you want an American to work for you, you're going to have to pay up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And these companies don't. We see it all the time. Look at Ford. Look at GM. Because they don't want to pay an American a job, what do? They took their company across fucking another country, and they hired people to do the job work. The job I work for,
Nabisco,
India. They're doing all customer services, because the same job they should be doing here that would pay in the 20s, they're paying cents to the dollars to do it in another country. Yeah. So I find it hypocritical that you put this law into effect, because what you did was literally show your ass. It is racist as hell on top of that.
Yeah.
You're going to tell me, number one, the process of becoming a citizen is so vulgar. Yeah. It's ridiculous, especially me being Haitian descent. You see Cubans get here, they got the wet foot dry policy back in the day. My people got sent back. I'm not saying one is better than the other, but both work hard. But why is it, if you're going to go to that far extent, take away those programs that help those Cubans that come over here, take it away or give it to all?
No, yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
I fully believe that. Okay, I fully believe that there needs to be a revitalization of the naturalization process. When I say that it's a good thing, I see it in the terms of this could be the stepping stone for change and the revitalization of what it means to be an American, as well as the American economy. Like it's like this. When these people leave as a result of that, I don't think that's good, because Jason's absolutely right. This country was built on immigrant labor, right?
Yep.
I think what needs to happen is not necessarily easier, but it needs to be more accessible to these people that come in to become citizens, because I would want people to feel valued, the immigrants as well as the citizens already here to feel valued. My thing is, I don't want to take jobs away from people, but I also want it to be done in the way to where
you want it to have structure,
where they won't be exploited and where they don't have to essentially live their life in fear, because they're afraid of working because they could get in trouble. And on the flip side, when they were able to work without the fear of getting in trouble, they were still being taken advantage of, because it's like, oh, if you don't want to work for these prices, I'll just call ICE on you.
Exactly.
You know, so
and
it was bad either way. So if we make it easier, exactly. If we make it easier for these immigrants to become citizens, then they won't have to fall prey to those business practices.
Where I do have a problem with immigrants, and I don't care how anybody takes this. Remember how I told you most of the immigrants that are here on an expired visa?
Yeah.
I personally have a serious problem. We'll take Wynwood, for instance, right? A lot of people who own these condominiums, these high rises, who are invested, they're immigrants. How is that even legal for them to make these purchases? Because then that puts us out of commission. You get what I'm saying? Because they're not like the immigrants coming across the border or coming from these islands. They're already well established and set up. They're on an expired visa. They took advantage of that because they did the thing right, but they're not being held accountable. Go after those people who are literally shitting on the system to get their own personal gain, and there's no repercussions for them. Why? They're the wrong skin color.
Because if they commit a crime, they'll just get extradited to their country, but they already made their money.
Exactly. Yeah. So why is it that they're able? Because think about it. The undocumented workers here, they can't get no housing. They can't get no, type of asset. Truthfully speaking, they'll get denied that. But the one on an expired visa, he still can do that. She can still do that. And that's what's hurting us. You know what I'm saying? And for y'all individuals who want to be like, oh, they're taking our job. You want to know one of the things that hurts this before we close out, because I know we're running short. I just want to put this out there. You want to know who's really hurting the American jobs? It's the criminal justice system. That's what's taking away your job. And allow me to explain how, right? Say I own a private prison. And you know what? Bill has his own company that needs electricians, but I don't want to pay that dude $30 an hour. Hey, you know what, Bill? You got your own private prison. I need some prisoner workers, and I'm going to pay him 15 cents to the dollar to do what I would be paying somebody 20-something dollars to do. That's what's taking away the job. Idaho, what's come out of Idaho? Potatoes, right? They take prisoners to do these jobs, and that takes work out of the American. Even as we go through Miami, I know you guys seen it where you're walking or driving on the street and you see those prison workers cutting the grass. That's taking jobs out of American hands. That's the problem. It's legal slavery. That all goes into ties with this whole policy this asshole put out. Yeah. Because how dare you fucking regulate that shit, but you're not regulate what's really taking our jobs away.
Right.
Because let's be real. Say you need somebody to demolition a house. Well, guess what? At one point, they were allowed to get degrees and GEDs, all that in jail, but you take advantage of it. It's slavery because you could do that job, but you lost it to a prisoner. You get what I'm saying? And that's what these corporations do. And then the media feeds us some bullshit where they want us to believe it's the niggas coming across the border or coming here illegally on a boat that are taking those jobs away. No, we're losing good jobs to freaking workers. License plate makers.
Yeah.
That's a factory, right? Why are they paying 15 cents for something that we would be getting paid in the high 20s to do? But you're not going to tackle that situation? Oh, I forgot, Mr. DeSantis, you have investments in personal private prisons, you know? And it even gets crazier, not to go on tandem. Look at Oprah, look at Michael Jordan, give back to the community, but they own these prisons. You know what I'm saying? So when you really want to talk about, for anyone's like, oh, they're taking our jobs away. No, they're not taking the jobs away. The truth is the immigrants that come across here that are undocumented, they're working the jobs that you would never want to do if your life depended on it. And the ones that are basically taking your jobs away are locked up in the system getting fucking slavery labor while you're getting fucked over. Not to mention, we also have a factor now. It's called AI, which is taking away a lot of people's fucking jobs. So when he put this into effect, what you did was shoot us in the foot. This state, amongst with many other states, literally survives off undocumented workers. You know why? When you're undocumented worker, I could work you like a fucking horse. I don't got to pay your medical. Yeah. I don't have to pay insurance. And that's where it's kind of good that he put this law in effect, because now these companies that were taking advantage of these people who work so hard and trying to make a life for themselves, now they're being held accountable. Now they're arguing. But when you were using these workers to work and you weren't paying them shit, it was all good and gravy. But now it actually hits in. They're not going to hire Americans. What they're going to do, they're going to basically work around it, move their company to another country, and that's what ends up happening. So,
yeah, but a lot of these, if we're talking about like local businesses, a lot of them can't do that. So what they're going to have to be forced to do is, right, but I'm not saying that's going to be 100% of the case, but I understand what you're saying as well, because it's been done time and time again. And a lot of these,
the scary shit,
a lot of these big corporations they're just outsourcing their work. They're moving their companies to other countries so they don't have to pay the taxes for America, right? All they have to pay, I think, is like the import tax or whatever, and whatever.
But
they
that's
do.
the thing. Yeah. If you're not responsible for your workers, bro, you're pretty much getting away with fucking murder.
Yeah,
let's be real, yo.
Because if this guy gets fucking hurt on the job, you just cart him away.
Yeah, where's the next one?
I'm not gonna call the cops.
So before we close out, Love, your final thoughts.
You shed some very interesting light on this topic, because like you had briefly mentioned before, the media literally sticks down your throat this false image of immigrant workers are taking good American jobs, and it's like
it's not them, it's it's the ones who got their visa, who are on expired visa. They're fucking up the economy.
You see, I didn't even know that.
They won't tell you that. You have to research that shit.
And it's like,
if you guys want to see that, it's on the Bloomberg channel, and it has a whole article where you can read and see how it's really hurting our economy.
You see, it was really good to know that.
So
because
we don't know.
We don't know.
That's the fucked up part. They lied to us. What about you, Ben? Final thoughts?
I feel like I've already spoken enough, so I'm just gonna leave you guys with this. Suck your mother, good boy.
Oh, great. So with that being said, Joe, we thank you guys for tuning in, man. Make sure if it's your first time, you hit that like and subscribe button. Also, we're going to be tagging our Discord link onto our page so you can actually join us, you know what I'm saying, on topics. Let us know how you feel. We host meetings too. We're going to basically structure that where we all could get along, and it'll be like a big party, because we really want to know what's going through y'all mind and what's going on with y'all. This is a family. We don't walk on eggshells for anybody, man. This is about growing something unique organically, and we're going to help everybody thrive here. That's what this is all about on 1424.
Yep.
And we all basically thank you for being a part of this. So it's a Gearhead Logic. Yo, you can find me at Logic142. Also, you can find me on One Thing For Sure, Two Things For Sure, certain on podcasts, on Instagram. Where could they find you, Love?
Ditto. You can find me on Instagram, Natalie, 2 I's, 2 E's. _01. We're gonna drop down that Discord link so we can share some of our shenanigans with you guys. It's gonna be fun, and possibly play some games too, because I have been preaching to these guys. Let's get on Discord. Let's get a Twitch stream. Let's play some fun games and just be with you guys. That'd be
this vibe.
And you already know me, Sir Daniel Ben, on Instagram.
That's what I heard.
So. Before I close out, man, again, I want to thank you guys for being a part of this. And also, if you are being affected by this, let us know. There's a couple links I have found that basically can find you guys, and you can reach out to certain programs that will that will help certain family members if they are undocumented. Again, we're one big family. Everyone here comes from parents who are from a third world country. You know what I'm saying? So we understand your struggle. You know what I'm saying? You're not alone. So reach out to us. We would love to help. And again, you know what I'm saying? We're also having open seats. So if you want to basically come on and be a guest, let us know, yo. We have topics for everything, every lifestyle, every culture. We want to basically interact with you guys.
Yes.
And as you know, this is one thing for sure, two things for certain,
baby.
Holla.
Let's go.
Woo.
That was good.